I would say good morning to you. Welcome aboard. Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend. Here we go. It is time for the Tom Taylor Sports Show, show number 528. And they said it wouldn't work, and here we are, rocking and rolling. Of course, we always dedicate our show to the man who hung on the cross. We unashamedly tell you that we dedicate it to the Lord Jesus. And so the verse to get us going today, Psalms 91:1 says, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty." There you go. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. So that's what's going on there, the verse of the day. Here is our lineup for today. We're going to be hearing from Mike Hedrick coming up just at the bottom of the hour from Northern Virginia. Get an update on the big weekend of racing at NASCAR. Of course, Austin Dillon takes that iconic number 3 into victory lane at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And we'll get ready for the Dover preview of the Dover racing this weekend at Dover, Delaware, the Monster Mile. Also, we've got Greg Salyer going to be here with us with the Major League Baseball update. Allison Costley, she's here momentarily. She'll be here with us from the Esther School. Greg Pitt's going to be here for Greg Beck from Phil's Dream Pit's going to be here, and also Steve McCauley from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and also Phil Pipkin from also Phil's Dream Pit's going to be here as well. All that coming up again here today and more. We're live here at Phil's Dream Pit. Now, before we get any further, we want you to again put your name in the bucket. Let me find it here real quick, and oh goodness, there it is. Right, boom. We're giving away tickets to the Thunder Valley Nationals on Saturday, June 17th. Again, we have, well over 100 entrants already. Again, these are grandstand passes plus pit passes. Get down, get a chance to meet John Force and Courtney Force and all the great stars of the NHRA. Again, they're going to be here Father's Day weekend coming up in what? 2 weeks? 3 weeks from yesterday, so you want to be there. Again, we're giving away 10 sets of tickets, so you got a 1 in 10 chance to win. Over $800 worth of tickets we're giving away, so all you have to do is go to TomTaylorSports.com/contest and there you be. All right, so we are ready to go. She's here, and we want to bring this young lady in, and we're going to swing the camera around and get it started because she's here. She's Allison Costley from the Esther School. Good morning, Sunshine. How you doing?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yes, love it. Show number 528, and I met this young lady. We were here at Phil's Dream Pit over the weekend, the little ladies and I, and so we ran into her, got introduced to her by Miss Diana, who, of course, is the co-owner here at Phil's Dream Pit. Said, you got to meet this lady. We started talking. One thing led to another. She's got a school in Africa. We want to promote that because we're all about promoting sports and talking about the Lord at every opportunity. So without further ado, the Esther School, you see it on the screen. Tell us what it's all about.
Well, first of all, what a sweet privilege to be sitting here in Phil's barbecue. I will tell you that one of the things that we miss the most, of course, we miss our family, we miss our friends, but man, we miss good food. And being here is always some good food and a sweet taste of home. So what a privilege to be here at Phil's, but also an opportunity to talk about the Esther School. So I can brag for as long as you want me to on what God's doing at the Esther School, because we didn't create it, we didn't found it, we just said yes to the call to going and serving at the Esther School. So the Esther School is a school in Zambia, Africa, in a village called Nangwena, and it's for orphan and under-resourced and vulnerable children. And so it's exciting because they're about to celebrate their 5th year, and we 5 years ago, really some ladies stood on a hill that were already serving in Zambia, already sharing the gospel in Zambia, and just really felt and were invited to start a school, and had been going there for a number of years. And one of the chiefs came to them and said, would you be willing to continue sharing the gospel through education? So they came back to West Michigan and talked about it and prayed about it and felt like God was calling them. And so, this year we are preschool through grade 4, and we add a grade every year, and we are a school for boys and girls. And the whole reason behind the school is to share the gospel. It is to break generational poverty, but most importantly is to raise servant leaders for the kingdom. And so the kids that we serve, we take 24 kids per class, and they start in preschool. And 5 years ago, when we were walking the land, meaning we as the people that serve the Esther School, they would run and scream in the other direction, had barely seen white people, much less spoke English. And so now when they come to preschool, by January, February, they're speaking English, and by kindergarten, first grade, they're reading and writing in English. And so the hope behind the Esther School is to really just give education. And we get asked a lot, to be a church, and we get asked a lot to be a clinic, and we get asked a lot to do a lot of different things. But our calling for the Esther School is to raise servant leaders for the kingdom, for the least of these.
Awesome. Here we're talking Allison Costley. You can see it on the screen, the Esther School. So you guys are here on furlough for now. So so why back over here taking a break?
Yeah. Our family is here in the Tri-Cities area. Our sending church is here in the Tri-Cities area. So we're blessed enough to come home for furlough and just get refreshed and get filled up and be ready to go again.
When you go back?
We go back mid-August.
Mid-August. And you stay for how long?
We stay the whole school year, so our school year runs on a North American calendar, so we'll be there again until June. And people always say to us, how long are you going to do this? How long are you going to be there? And our yes is on the table until God calls us somewhere else.
Awesome. Is there a website?
There is. It's esterschool.org.
Esterschool.org. Again, capital E, Esther School. Esterschool.org. Now, obviously, there's always need, particularly financial, so folks out there watching, listening can get involved and be a part of it, like Phil's is, and Phil, is that right? Phil is. Phil's Dream Pit is. And so tell me how folks out there can get involved in the cause, because you need financial help, obviously.
Well, I always tell people the Lord doesn't need us, but the Lord does call us, and we get a chance to be invited into something big. And the great thing about the Esther School is it is one of the most organic forms of ministry. You're helping the orphan, you're helping the widow, and you're helping the poor. And all of our kids are able to go to the Esther School tuition free. These are the students, the children of the village that wouldn't be able to go to school anyway. They can't afford school, and they're the ones that weren't making it anyway. They are the least of these. And so for the Esther School, for kids to be able to come, our kids are sponsored. And so at esterschool.org, it gives all the information on how to sponsor a student. And I always want to say up front, for people that have pursued sponsorship in the past, our sponsorship is high. And I will tell you why. I'd love a chance to explain that. Our students aren't just being sent to school, we're growing a school and we're growing a village, and our kids get 2.5 meals a day, and not just 2.5 meals a day of their local grain. They get protein, fruit, and vegetable in every meal. That sponsorship also pays for clean water. Our kids have full bottles of water all day long, so we are feeding them more in a day than sometimes they would have gotten in a week.
So, again, we're talking to Allison Costley. We've got sports coming up here, but I want to get this young lady in because she's very, very busy. I want to catch her here at the outset of the show. We got plenty of sports to talk about coming up for the next couple of hours. So, I'm assuming mention the fact that they have clean bottles of water that most everybody else over there, the water's not clean, correct?
Right. That's right.
Yeah. So, and not everybody eats right over there either. So
that's right.
These kids eat and again have clean water. Give me some success stories. Give me one kid or one child's. We don't know who they are. You can even use a fictitious name, but give me a success story from getting them from point A to a very successful point B.
Well, we see our measures of success very different than some people, but our measures of success are those kids who, especially now that are in grade 4, you would be blown away at how our kids can read and write and do multiplication facts, and how when they go into the library, the first book they ask for is the Bible, because they're not flooded with the word like we are. But I think the true measure of success is when the other day my husband was leading a PTA, so a parent-teacher meeting, which is not what you would think here, but he just asked, would any family like to close us in prayer? And nobody would offer a closing in prayer. And he heard one of his students just from around the corner say, Mr. Costley, I will do it. And she stood in front of, her elders of her village and just gave glory to the Lord and thanked him for sponsors and thanked him for education, but mostly thanked him for sending his son to die on a cross. And my husband just sat there and looked at her, because the truth is 2 weeks earlier she had just lost her mom. Her mom had died of, we don't know the sickness that she died of. There's a lot of death there. She just lost her mom, and she's raising her hand and her voice to the Lord, thanking him for the provision in her life and the strength. And so when we saw that as not just that she can multiply and read and has a future because of education. She gave glory to God, and it just was shocking for us. And I really could, if we had all day, tell you so many success stories. But our measure of success isn't about drought or rain. It's not about the number of things that are happening there, but it's about bringing people to the Lord and showing them their true worth in Jesus and meeting the whole child. And so that's what we're doing at the Esther School.
Website again is
esterschool.org.
.org. It's awesome. So what do you want to leave us with this morning? Because we'll get you back in. You're not leaving in August. We're going to try and I'm out here every month, so we're going to have every month I'm here. You're going to come by and talk to us if you want to, because we want to promote what you're doing. It's awesome. Again, you guys personify Matthew 25:40, where it says, "As you've done to the least of these, my brethren, you've done it to me." So you're helping those little people. It's like helping the Lord Himself, right?
That's right.
That's the way I interpret it.
Yeah.
So, give me one more success story. Give me another one.
Okay, I'll tell you a sweet one. So we have a little family who, you guys know the stories. You see them or hear them when you hear the continent of Africa, but comes from a broken home. A lot of abuse. We're starving. And in kindergarten, he was hiding in a closet, and his teacher came in and thought he was playing hide and seek. And so she coaxed him out of the closet and realized he was having kind of an off day. And one of the other Zambian teachers came to her and said he's having an off day because his dad early this morning was chasing him and beating him with a tree branch. And she just thought, oh my goodness, we don't realize the trauma our kids come to school with. Well, fast forward to grade 3, and this little boy was struggling, just having a hard day, and so she reached down and shared with him, that he was loved, and they were writing a writing assignment, and they were writing a card that said, "Dear Mom and Dad." And the little boy that was sitting next to him, so you have the little boy, we'll say Tommy, who was being beat by his dad that morning, look over at his friend, and his friend had wrote the card to "Dear Mom and Dad." And the teacher remembered that the little boy's dad had died about 6 months ago. And so she reached down to him and said, "Hey, buddy, who is the card for?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I forgot." And he went to erase Dad. And Tommy said to him, "But teacher, God is our good, good Father." And she said, "Yes, Tommy, God is our good, good Father." And he said, "So he can write his card to Mom and our good, good Father?" And she said, "Yes, he can write a card to Mom and our good, good Father." So we are definitely bringing education, but mostly we're bringing the Lord and the gospel to a broken community who is finding hope.
Come back next month.
I would love to come by next month. Thank you.
EstherSchool.org.
EstherSchool.org.
You got it. Awesome story. She has a T-shirt on that says the Esther School, and of course the actual shows the country of Africa and exactly where it is. It's right above her belly button. Esther School again on the T-shirt, and again EstherSchool.org is what you want to find out more about. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you in July, because that's great. Got everybody back in. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back, and we'll jump in here and get after it. We've got lots of sports to cover. Unfortunately, Tiger Woods in the news. People will tell about that. Quick break. We'll be right back. That and the NBA. The Predators went on the ice last night, and man, they had them on the ropes, and the Penguins bounced back. We'll tell you all about that coming up next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show, show number 528, live from Phil's Dream Pit here on this Tuesday.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
The deals are heating up for Truck Month at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. Over 300 new Chevys to choose from, all with incredible savings. $11,000 off MSRP on 16 Silverado All-Star Crew Cabs. Check out the savings online at championjc.com. 16 Silverado Crew Cab, $33,685. 16 Track, $17,460. 16 Equinox, $21,615. 16 Traverse, $27,365. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447.
4447.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
At FCA, we're touching millions one heart at a time. Since 1954, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes has been putting the heart and soul in sports by challenging athletes and coaches to impact the world for Jesus Christ. As the largest sports ministry in the world, FCA now reaches over 2 million people annually on the professional, college, high school, junior high, and youth levels. Through this shared passion for athletics and faith, lives are changed, one heart at a time. Learn more at fca.org.
Back at the Tom Dover Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. We're live again at Phil's Dream Pit, the quest for perfect barbecue. We're going to be talking to them a little bit later on, coming up here again on the Tom Dover Sports Show. Again on this Tuesday, almost said Monday, this Tuesday, May the 30th, 2017. Hope that you guys, wherever you may be, had a great Memorial Day weekend. Certainly did, had a blast, and hung out with some folks that are, I guess you'd say, near and dear to me. So we had a good time. Very, very nice time. So all's good. All right, let's jump in here and go. We have from Pittsburgh, the Penguins rarely tested the hottest goaltender in the playoffs in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals against Nashville, but they beat Pekka. They beat Pekka anyway. Rookie Jake Gunsel, hope I'm saying it right, fired the puck past Pekka with 3:17 left in regulation, put the Penguins ahead to stay at a back-and-forth 5-3 victory on Monday night. Again, the Predators had a 3-goal lead, couldn't finish it off, and so Game 2 is Wednesday night in Pittsburgh. But again, Penguins hung on. The defending Stanley Cup champions rallied from 3 goals down to beat the Predators 5-3, and so Game 2 will be tomorrow night in Pittsburgh, and then it shifts to Nashville. So the Predators were there. Not only were they there, they dominated the game until the Penguins caught fire and won it 5-3. So I would think if you're a Predators fan, that's something certainly to build on for tomorrow night's Game 2 in Pittsburgh. Tiger Woods attributed an unexpected reaction to prescription medicine for his arrest of a DUI charge and landed him in a Florida jail Monday for over 4 hours. Tiger Woods, a 14-time major champion who had back surgery 5 weeks ago, arrested on suspicion of DUI at about 3 o'clock in the morning and taken to Palm Beach County Jail. He is released on his own recognizance. Woods, with his 79 victories, ranking second on the PGA Tour's career list, has not competed for nearly 4 months. He is out now for the rest of the season while he recovers from fusion back surgery on April the 20th in Texas. So Tiger Woods, again, arrested for DUI, 3 o'clock yesterday morning, Palm Beach County Jail in Florida. So his story continues to spiral downward. It's a very, very sad story. And so hopefully he can get it together and get things turned around. Of course, it started with his wife, and it's gone downhill since then with the problems they had and the ultimate divorce. So we wish him the very best and wish and hope that he gets it together, quite frankly, because that's what we need to do. We need to make sure people get it together when they can, and we're certainly pulling for Tiger Woods to do that. College baseball, it's run down for you. We're ready to go for the baseball regionals in Chapel Hill to be Michigan, Florida Gulf Coast, North Carolina, and Davidson. All these will start on Friday. In Winston-Salem, the Maryland Terrapins, in West Virginia, and Wake Forest, and UMBC. In Lexington, Kentucky, North Carolina State, Indiana, Kentucky, and the Ohio Bobcats in that particular region. In Louisville, Kentucky, the Cardinals, Radford, Oklahoma, and Xavier. Also, you have in Clemson, South Carolina, St. John's, Vanderbilt, Clemson, and UNC Greensboro. Also, you have in Gainesville, Florida, the Florida Gators, Marist, Bethune-Cookman, and South Florida. The Bulls, all four of those teams in Gainesville. In Tallahassee at Dick Howser Stadium, Auburn, Central Florida, Tennessee Tech, and the Seminoles of Florida State. In Hattiesburg, Mississippi, host school Southern Mississippi, and also UIC and South Alabama, and the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. That's the four there. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, LSU, the host school, and Texas Southern, and Rice, and Southeastern Louisiana. In Fayetteville, Arkansas, the host school, along with Oral Roberts, Oklahoma State, and Missouri State. In Fort Worth, Texas, TCU, along with the Virginia Cavaliers, Dallas Baptist, and CCSU are the schools there in that regional. In Houston, Texas, Texas A&M and Baylor. In Houston, the host school, and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Lubbock, Texas, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, and Delaware. Everybody plays on Friday, by the way, best of three. Texas Tech, Delaware, Sam Houston State, and Arizona. In Oregon, you have Oregon State, the number one seed in the tournament. Oregon State, Holy Cross, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and Yale, all four of those teams in Oregon. In Long Beach, California, you have UCLA, Texas, Long Beach State, and San Diego State. And then in Stanford, California, you have obviously Stanford is the host school. And then you have Sacramento State, Cal State, and BYU, the four schools there in Stanford, California. All these are the Super Baseball regionals for college baseball, best of three starting on Friday. Now in softball, they have whittled it down, and here are the teams involved in the College World Series of softball at the Hall of Fame Stadium in Oklahoma City. You have the Florida Lady Gators taking on Texas A&M. This all starts on Thursday. Again, the best of three. Florida, Texas A&M, UCLA, and the Lady Tigers of LSU, Oregon and the ladies from Washington, and the Lady Cowboys from Oklahoma, and the Lady Bears from Baylor. So it's Florida, Texas A&M, UCLA, LSU, Oregon, Washington, Oklahoma, and Baylor are the top final eight, if you will, and for the women's softball in the College World Series in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and that starts again on Thursday with the best of three. And so good stuff that's coming up. So we've got college baseball and college softball front and center right now, again in the sports world here in late May of 2017. Before we go to the break, let's take a look again at baseball from Southwest Virginia. From yesterday, it was Tazewell defeating Gate City 8-2. John Battle beat Virginia High 8-3. That's in 2A. In 1A, it was Eastside shutting out Patrick Henry 3-0. Honaker beat J.I. Burton 10-1. And Auburn shuts out High School shuts out Chilhowie 10-0 in baseball. So coming up tomorrow, it'll be John Battle, Dan River, Tazewell, Floyd County in the 2A semifinals. In the 1A semifinals being played at Emory and Henry College, Eastside and Fort Chiswell, and Honaker and Auburn. That's in Virginia baseball. Virginia softball from yesterday. In 2A, it was Lebanon shutting out Virginia High 5-0. It was Richland beating Wise Central 11-1. And softball from 1A, you have Patrick Henry defeating Castlewood. Perry McClure shuts out Chilhowie 2-0. And Holston beat Eastside 4-1 in girls high school softball. In soccer, boys soccer play, Lebanon doubles up Virginia High 4-2. Graham High School shuts out John Battle 4-0. In girls soccer action, Richlands beat Gate City 1-0. And Graham shuts out Honaker. And girls soccer action in 2A final there was 6-0. So that's what's going on in Southwest Virginia. Of course, Tennessee wrapping everything up on Friday and Saturday. So all the sports is done for the state of Tennessee high school sports for this calendar year. And of course, won't be that far down the road until we crank up high school football. It's not that far away. We've got some things getting ready to come along here on the old Facebook page we're very excited about to tell you about coming up involving high school football. And that'll be coming up, as we said, a little bit later on. It'll be here before you know it. As will the Bass Pro Shop NRA Night Race. Tickets on sale, 423 Bristol Ticks. Again, getting ready for the night racing. And if Saturday night's race, or I should say Sunday night's race, any indication, Charlotte, what's coming up? There'll be some great racing here at Bristol. Austin Dillon, of course, one of those young bucks, 27 years old, pulls off the stunning upset. He outdueled the 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson and Martin Trix Jr. to win the race. So again, Austin Dillon in victory lane, winning the Coca-Cola 600, and so he'll be here obviously coming up in August, and as will all the regular drivers, including the last chance to see Dale Jr. driving the night race at Bristol. So tickets are flying out of there, I can tell you that. BristolTix.com on the computer, on the phone, 423-BRISTOL. And again, you simply go to the Bruton Smith building there on property and visit with those folks. They've got extended hours, and they're a phone call away at 423-BRISTOL, or you can go at the simplest way goes, BristolTix.com on the internet. As we go to the break, we want to tell you award-winning sports writer and commentator Frank DeFord has died, 78 years old. He died in Key West, Florida. 6-time Sports Writer of the Year and a member of the National Association of Sportscasters and Sports Writers Hall of Fame. And so he worked at Sports Illustrated, also National Public Radio. He retired this month from NPR's Morning Edition after 37 years as a contributor. And so, again, Frank DeFord passing away at the age of 79 years old. Quick break. We'll be right back. We've got more for you. We're live at Phil's Dream Pit, again off of Interstate 26, the Eastern Star exit. The quest for perfect barbecue. We'll come back with more right after you hear this, as we're here on the road at Phil's Dream Pit, show number 528 of the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
And we're back live again to Phil's Dream Pit. Phil's going to join us coming up here in a few minutes because Phil is the daddy rabbit. He's going to talk to us here in just a few about Phil's Dream Pit. They go ahead and put that up on the screen. The quest for perfect barbecue, and you can't go wrong. Let me tell you what they've got here. They got a hickory smoked hot dog. After you have a hickory smoked hot dog from Phil's, you don't want any other hot dog, I'm telling you. I didn't believe him until he told me, and I'm a big connoisseur of hot dogs, and he's right. There is no other hot dog like a hickory smoked hot dog from Phil's Dream Pit, with all the trimmings and all the goodies. Let's go to the phone you see on the screen. Our buddy Mike Hedrick in Northern Virginia, the NASCAR fans reporter. And good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good morning. Is this the Phil's carry-out number? I'd like to order a couple brisket sandwiches for August when I get there. Good golly, you make me hungry every time you call.
Oh yeah, I can. In fact, I can bring it today. We don't have to wait till August. If you need it delivered or catered, I can bring it straight to Northern Virginia. So we will do that for you because this guy does a wonderful job. How about the black number 3 sitting in Victory Lane on Sunday night, early Monday morning for Austin Dillon? What a ride. Tell me about it.
That whole ride, that actually was a great day. You know, the Coca-Cola 600 right there at Charlotte Motor Speedway, we always know it's going to be the longest race of the season. Well, it got even longer with that rain delay at lap 143. That gave us an hour and 40 minutes of a red flag. We thought Martin Truex was going to be the man of the day. He led 233 laps. But, you know, it comes down to a fuel mileage race. Poor Jimmy Johnson gets hung out there by Chad Knaus, runs out of gas, opens up the door for Austin Dillon. He leads one lap and gets his very first NASCAR win. So, hey, I got to admit, last week I had him down as a driver that I didn't think was ever going to get a NASCAR victory. And there he goes right there to Victory Lane. So that was awesome for the number 3. First time it's been to Victory Lane, the number 3 has, in 17 years. Now, we know that the 3 was driven by the late, great Dale Sr., and he drove the car the last time on February 18th, the day he passed away at the Daytona 500. But he had actually driven the number 3 since 1984. He took Ricky Rudd's place and got most of his 76 wins there. His last win, and the last win in that number 3, was there at Talladega at the Winston 500 in 2000. So long time. Great to see that car back in Victory Lane. And, you know, the young man, he enjoyed it. He was very humble. He gave thanks to God in Victory Lane, which I always like. So bravo to him, and I stand corrected.
There you go. And, of course, the other big news coming out of his campaign, his wife announced earlier during the Daytona week that they're expecting, so it's been a special year so far for Austin Dillon. What's this do, Mike Hedrick, to Richard Childress Racing to get a W in 2017?
That has just got to give them a lot of confidence. You know, the organization's been struggling over these last few years, and to have right now where they've got a good shot, well, they're going to be in the chase. But, you know, he didn't just win that race by being there that one lap. He was running in the top 10. He had a strong car. That whole organization is coming along. You give a boost like seeing that number 3 in Victory Lane. I mean, I can just only imagine just the fun and the excitement in those race shops this week here, getting ready for Dover. I mean, I would be very excited to be right there with them.
We're talking to Mike Hedrick. Again, we're live here again at Phil's Dream Pit, the quest for perfect barbecue. So, you know, also on top of that, Mike, he beat some pretty good guys. He outdueled Truex and certainly Jimmy Johnson, 7-time champion. So not only did he win, but he beat some of the big boys and Kyle Busch, among others. So thank you. So he beat, to win this race Monday morning, he beat some pretty notable guys to do it.
Well, and you're right. He was really, other than Eric Jones, he was really the only young guy in that top 10 there at the end of the race. I mean, like you said, it was Kyle Busch and Truex and Hamlin and Kurt Busch and Harvick, Newman, Dale Jr. Hey, Dale Jr. in the top 10 for one. You know the crowd was just loving that, and it's good to see him do a little bit better. He actually, at the end of the race, if we could just go into that, we had Kyle Busch had some comments at the end of the race. To me, was a little bit rude, but really what happened was, the race was real long. It got into the nighttime. He didn't want to be at the even coming in second. He made a good interview right there next to the car, but when he had to go to the media center, he was just very distracted. He was picking his nose. He got actually asked, "Are you surprised that Austin Dillon could stretch out the fuel? And what do you think?" And basically, Kyle just said, "I'm not surprised about anything. Congratulations." Dropped the mic, had an irritated look on his face. And basically the questions were over, and he walked out. I thought that was really unprofessional and very, very rude. And I like the fact that he's sometimes the black hat on the track. But I'm really disappointed when he's the black hat off the track and he does stuff like that.
Well put. Win like a champion, lose like a champion. Of course, you don't like to lose. Nobody likes to lose. But, win with class, lose with class would be the way to say it. Or as the late Dean Smith used to say at North Carolina, act like you've been there. So, Bush wins. The previous week he was on cloud nine. He was everybody's buddy. So when he loses, and I get this, he's competitive, but, we're all competitive, and you got to be able to channel your energy when you lose and not go out there and show yourself, which he did. So, it is what it is. But, he doesn't endear himself to folks when he acts like that because, I would think it's like golf or anything else, Mike. There's NASCAR etiquette, too. You just don't do that. And he's picking his nose up there, like you said, and just wasn't cool. But anyway, we move on to Dover. Before we do that, what was your take on Regan Smith and his representation of Richard Petty Motorsports in that 43 ride for Eric Almirola?
I think he did a great job. He's such an excitable young man. He's good for any sponsor that you could put him in, and he's a great young driver. So it was great seeing him there. He's great for the sponsors. We haven't heard just yet from Richard Petty who's going to be filling the seat, whether it's Regan, if he's going to go ahead and continue. We know that Eric Almirola is going to be out for 8 to 12 weeks or so. But they haven't said just yet who's going to fill it. But he did a great job. I know the fans love him. And the King loves him, so we'll just see if he, see whether we see him at Dover.
New points leader again in the Cup Series. Again, we're live on the phone talking to Mike Hedrick in Northern Virginia, the NASCAR fans reporter. And so Truex takes over the points leadership. Kyle Larson, not a good night. Of course, again, he gets caught up in that pre-qualifying, or I should say the pre-race inspections for qualifying. So he never got out on the track, and he was very adamant about that from the get-go, which I agree. I understand. We talked about that last week, and we talked about it with some other folks as well. And so how does NASCAR fix that? And, of course, the marquee guy, I guess he can blame NASCAR because it put him in the back of the field. He never did really recover, so if he wanted to cry foul, he could, because as a result of the not-so-good weekend in Charlotte, he's now no longer the point leader. He's only down 5 points. But, again, Truex Jr. is your new leader, and what's your take on that?
Well, I'm just a big fan of black and white is black and white, and if your car is over, it's over. Yep. If you're running for a touchdown and your toe just even barely touches that white, you're out of bounds. You don't have to be all the way over. So I think that cars and the teams, and especially the crew chiefs, are really trying to push it, and it's such a fine line. But I think right now they're seeing that they're really risking a whole lot by not getting out there. Now, we saw a bunch of cars not make it out the week before. Well, we saw Larson not make it out this time. So maybe the majority of the teams are, still wanting to push that, but realizing that the risk and the reward can be very different.
We're talking again to our buddy Mike Hedrick live on the phone in Northern Virginia. We're live here at Phil's Dream Pit. Phil's going to join us coming up next year. So here's your points heading off to Dover. Truex Jr. leads it by 5. Kyle Larson second. Brad Keselowski third. Kevin Harvick fourth. Kyle Busch fifth. Jamie McMurray sixth. Chase Elliott seventh. Jimmy Johnson eighth. Clint Bowyer ninth. And Joey Logano rounds out the top 10. So you got a furniture row. You've got Ganassi, Penske, Stewart Haas, Gibbs, Ganassi, Rick Hendrick, Stewart Haas, and Penske. So you see the same names up there at the top virtually all the time. And so I guess if there's any surprise, I don't guess Chase Elliott's a surprise, but top 10 in points. Any surprises for you up and down that top 10 right now?
I think the whole season has really been a surprise. I think that there's people that are getting wins that we didn't expect to get wins. And I think that the teams that we expected to be great aren't. The Joe Gibbses aren't. There's not as many of them up there. So I think this is the season when things are really getting mixed up. I think it's great. It's been awesome racing. To me, if I don't see the same big powerhouse teams up there that I normally see, that's just because there's been good racing. And these young kids, like I said, these young kids are coming with a little bravado nowadays. They've been in the sport a few years. They've been very respectful. And I think they've even given the veterans a little bit of leeway in races the last couple of years out of respect. And I think that they've said, you know what, we've done that. Now we're going to race you. And I think it's a great season with everybody has a shot.
Absolutely. Of course, Richard Childress now, if he can get Ryan Newman untracked and Paul Menard, he's got Austin Dillon with a win under his belt. Of course, that's his grandson driving the black number 3. So obviously that's what he wanted, I'm sure, deep down. And so we move on to Dover, Delaware, the Monster Mile. Real quick, who typically runs well there and who typically does not run well at the Monster Mile in Dover?
Well, we know that the king of Dover right now is Jimmy Johnson with his 10 wins right there. You just got to go in picking him as going to be one of your favorites. Truex won last fall. They didn't have qualifying, so he started right there in the second spot. Hey, Matt Kenseth won this thing in May, so really it could be anybody. I did hear that the drivers, the command to start your engines is going to be given by Chef Gordon Ramsay. So I'm hoping he doesn't cuss us all out at the very beginning of the race and tell us that our food smells like burning stinking tires or something,
I love it. Mike Hedrick, great report, my friend, as always. Take care. We'll join you next week. You do a phenomenal job. And, hey, just remember, we are 79 days away from the truck race of Bristol, so it's right around the corner. It'll be here for you.
Hey, don't forget to put in that carry-out order for me for the brisket when I get there.
You want some brisket? When you get here then?
Yeah, I want some brisket.
When you get here in August, I'm going to treat you to brisket at Phil's Dream Pit. You're here. It's on. It's done.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Talk to you next week, my friend.
All right, God bless y'all real good, everybody.
It's a great job, our buddy Mike Hedrick with us again from Northern Virginia. Appreciate him very much. Again, we are here live at Phil's Dream Pit. Phil's here, so before we get to Phil, let me tell you real quick about the hair. What are we doing about the hair? PanteneBeautifulLinks.com. We're going to get to a certain length, and they're going to whack it off, and we're going to be able to give my hair, along with some other folks, to make wigs for ladies going through cancer via either chemo or radiation. So PanteneBeautifulLinks.com, offering free real hair wigs to all women who've lost their hair due to cancer treatment. So we're raising awareness of that by growing our hair, and I hope it's going to be soon because it's hot. I didn't realize how hot their hair gets. It's hot, but it's for a great cause, and that's okay. We are here talking about a great cause. There's my man Phil's Dream Pit. He's here. He's in the building and ready to roll. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good morning, Tom. I'm doing excellent.
Yes, love talking to this guy. He and his lovely bride, Miss Diana, do a super job. And how about that Esther School? We had it on earlier, and Mike Hedrick just said he was watching the segment up in Virginia, and this young lady came here and was. When you talk to her, it just kind of, you know her firsthand, and you work with her, but when you talk to her, it just comes out. It just oozes. She's passionate. She's
very passionate, and the Dream Pit, we've supported her and her family for about 2 years with the Esther School, and I find it, I'm the type of person, I like to help and get involved, but I'm not the type of person that could sell my house and sell all my material things and move around the world.
Sure.
To do that kind of service, and they have a tremendous compassion and passion for that.
Mm-hmm. And it shows.
It does.
EstherSchool.org, by the way, if you want to check it out. And of course, you can get involved financially. And she's going to come back. We're here every month. She's going to be here on furlough until August, so you can check it out. The EstherSchool.org, and of course.
And I would urge people, if you can't do the sponsorship, if you could do $10 a month or $50 a month or whatever you could do to help that organization, because they are doing tremendous things in Zambia.
Something is better than nothing, right?
Something is better than nothing.
If you give $10 a month, you can do the math. It's $120 a year, and in Africa, $120 will go a long way.
It will go a long ways,
even for $10 a month. So if you can help, again, go to the website, learn more about it. Again, the EstherSchool.org. All right, here we go. As he gets ready to talk about this great place, he turned me on. I guess it was 2 trips ago when I was in here 2 shows ago. He said, "Won't you try hickory smoked hot dog?" I said, "Okay, all right, whatever." So there are no other hot dogs out there. When I get a hot dog, the only hot dog I'll eat now, you have weaned me off everybody else. The only hot dog I'll eat is a hickory smoked hot dog from Phil's Dream Pit. There's nothing like it.
There's nothing. They're all beef hot dogs, and through the course of being open here, I guess I've tried 50 different hot dogs. And that one is by far come to the top. It's the best I've ever had.
And so hickory smoked hot dog, that's one of the many things you can get here on the menu. Now, I want to talk about back here. It's called Dream Packs. You can see right here. I'd be a terrible weatherman. I never do get this right. There you go. Dream Packs, feeding 4 increments of 4. Pork, chicken, or brisket if you're on the move. Can't sit in here with us in the air-conditioned restaurant. You're getting it to go. A lot of folks on the move this time of year for whatever reason. They're out doing whatever they're doing, enjoying the great outdoors the Lord's provided here in our part of the country. But you have these great Dream Packs to go. Tell me about those.
So, kind of goes along with the catering. We have a price. You can go to our website, philsdreampit.com. We have a catering menu. But we cater for 50 or more people. So, if you've got an organization, if you've got a party company party or something, you've got 50 people, and you want the pork and the sauce and the buns and 3 sides, it ends up costing you like less than $7 a person, and it's a tremendous amount of food. And the thought behind it was, we are a small restaurant, so we have a lot of families that will pick up a Feeds 4 or a Feeds 6 or Feeds 8, and it helps us. We got a price point that's affordable for families and saves us on seating too.
Talking to Phil Pipkin, obviously you see on the screen, he is the owner of Phil's Dream Pit, and so they cater. And again, you heard the website to go to. You also have the Dream Packs. Tell me about those.
Those are, you can do the chicken, Feeds 4s, Feeds 8s, 10s, even numbers is what we try to go by. But like the chicken, it's if you ordered a Feeds 4 chicken, you'd get 4 halves of smoked chicken. And it comes with 3 sides. So our side options are potato salad, macaroni salad, coleslaw, baked beans, and chips. And so you get actually 3 pints of sides with the Feeds 4.
That's awesome.
And comes with the buns or toast and the sauce.
And you got the pork and the brisket as well,
got
right?
Pork, brisket.
Yep. And all this again, all you got to do is call up. Of course, this is come in and get the menu, but you can also call them or go on the website at philsdreampit.com. There you go. And so Dream Packs, and then right above it talks about how you can get meat by the pound. You get ready to have a big shindig, and you just want to buy by the pound. You can do that too, right?
You can do that too. Tell me
about that.
A lot of folks that want to know how much a pound will feed. We figure 4 people per pound. That's 4 ounces of meat per sandwich. So we use that as our start, and we get people who, they're having a family reunion and everybody's got the sides, so they just want the pork. And the pork is $11.50 a pound,
which is very reasonable.
Very reasonable. And we got turkey
and brisket.
Turkey, brisket. You can do ribs. You can do just about anything. If we don't have something on the menu that you're interested in for a catering, like smoked ham or something different, beef tenderloin, we can discuss prices on that.
Tell us about how you do. I don't guess you want to tell everything about how you do it, because you got your, like the Colonel, you got your secret recipe, but you have tinkered and toyed all these years as a pit master, and so you got it down to a science. And give us a few little tips you want to tell us about how you do the meat.
Well, like the brisket. Brisket is one of the toughest cuts of meat. I kind of do different than a lot of people. I trim all the fat off the brisket before I smoke it, but the day before I use 3 different salts, and those salts help open the pores up, which will help tenderize it. So that's why my brisket is very tender. The dry rub ribs, man, they are. I've got customers coming in here say they've ate ribs all over the United States and they hadn't found a better rib.
And so I agree with them totally. Also, what kind of wood do you use?
I use cherry, hickory, pecan if I can find it. It's very hard to find, but the cherry and the pecan give a sweeter flavor than the hickory. Hickory has that more pungent punch to it.
So the wood you use also plays into it too, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So see, this guy knows. You can't see it here, but down this wall, we say this every time we're here, all these different plaques and trophies, or plaques and awards, I should say, of all the different cook-offs you've had, and you've won just about every one of them. Pick an event, you've pretty well won it, haven't you?
Well, locally, but it's not about the awards. I come off of I was doing the KCBS kind of cook-offs, and I kind of got out of that because their judging is so much different than what people, and I'm a restaurant, so it's more about what the people like versus what 6 judges or some judge likes.
Well put. You're exactly right, because right here, right now, the restaurant's full, and we're not really officially hit lunch hour quite yet. We're about 10 minutes away from the top of the hour, but lunch has started. The restaurant's open at 11 o'clock, but proof's in the pudding.
Proof's in the pudding.
Coming back and coming back and coming back, and we were in here last week eating. There was a couple in here from Ohio that just was coming through, pulled off and Eastern Star exit, found the restaurant, came in here, and the guys just went bananas, loved it. So you get that all the time, don't you?
We do, and God uses us. We your show, you talk about God and the influence in your life, and He uses this restaurant like I've never seen before. Folks who break down. Why did they break down here? And just, and through the support of my customers for 10 years, we're able to help other people. And it's kind of
on the table. They have prayer request cards, so when you come in here, you've got something that you're burdened about. They check off why the prayer request and hand it off. And in fact, this morning.
And if you don't want to stick the prayer request card in the box over there, we'll be happy to pray with you.
Sure.
Right away. So.
And we opened this when I got here this morning. I'm over getting ready, and Phil said, "Get over here, we'll pray." You guys pray every morning over the restaurant and over the employees,
over each other, and.
I'm telling you. So he dedicates this restaurant to the Lord. I dedicate this show to the Lord, and the proof's in the pudding.
Proof's in the pudding.
We're hanging in there, ain't we?
We are, yeah.
I know they're back there. They're waving, they're flagging, so you got to get back over there. But can't thank you enough, first, for your friendship. Number two, for your Christian testimony and your friendship. And, oh, by the way, you run a really good restaurant, too. It's great food.
Your support and folks I've met through your show, that, thank you.
Everybody wins, don't we?
Everybody wins.
All good. And he gets the glory, and that's the bottom line. Yep. We'll take a quick break. We'll come right back. We got more for you. We're live at Phil's Dream Pit on show number 528. They said it wouldn't work. We're at 528 on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
At American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import and Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen originated in Australia, where sunscreen standards are the strictest in the world. Although our products are now manufactured here in the U.S., we continue to adhere to the most stringent Australian standards to offer the best in broad-spectrum sun protection. Blue Lizard, the brand most recommended by pediatricians and dermatologists. Our smart bottle turns blue in the presence of UV rays, reminding you to cover up. You bring the sun, Blue Lizard brings the magic.
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock. You've been involved in a car accident. You may be out of state on vacation or just a few miles from home. What do you do? Who do you call? At Farmers Insurance Group, one call is all you have to make. Hello, this is Jim Klein, an agent with Farmers Insurance. It's called One and Done. You don't have to wait till Monday morning to file a claim. You can make the initial call and we'll begin right away to help you. We assist you in moving the vehicle to a certified repair shop, getting you set up with rental car, and informing your agent. Then here the staff at Jim Klein Farmers Insurance, we follow the claim through to the end. It's that easy. One and Done. We're your one and done location for all your insurance needs. Auto, home, life, commercial, workers' comp, and bonds. We can help you with all your insurance needs. Give me a call today, Jim Klein Farmers Insurance at 247-5400, your one and done location in Kingsport, 247-5400.
Hi, I'm Rob Cole with Bays Mountain Park. There's something for everyone at Bays Mountain Park. Whether you're an outdoor enthusiast or simply looking to get away and relax, Bays Mountain Park in Kingsport, Tennessee is the perfect destination. For only $4 per vehicle, enjoy 3,500 acres of breathtaking scenery, featuring 40 miles of hiking trails, wildlife habitats, one of the Southeast's premier planetariums, and much, much more. For more information, please visit www.baysmountain.com or call us at 423-229-9447. Bays Mountain Park, one of the Tri-City's best places for learning, leisure, and recreation.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show. Thanks for being with us. Show number 528. Just smell it. Can you smell it through the microphone? Ooh, laws and mercy, it's good. Now, before we get any further, I'm going to have Greg come on just a second. Here's where you can register to win. We're giving away 10 pairs of tickets. These are $80 a piece, and so you're talking over $800 worth of tickets to get to Thunder Valley Nationals. Again, TomTaylorSports.com/contest. All you got to do. We'll have 10 different winners, so you get a 1 in 10 chance of winning. So why would you not? All we need is first name, last name, town you live in, and probably an email address. When you win, we can get a hold of you. TomTaylorSports.com/contest. What's been interesting, we've had a lot of folks register from up in Ohio. We do a segment every, this week we did it on Saturday and Sunday, but we do 2 segments a week on, see, 2 different radio stations, one of them being 700 WLW. So as a result, I'm getting some more and more people from up there. Either want to be a friend request for the show because they allow me to talk about the show a little bit, which I appreciate. And then also, there's been folks registering for the tickets, not just local, it's all over the country. So go ahead and do that. Why would you not? Again, TomTaylorSports.com/contest. And again, we'll give those away, 2 weeks from today, I guess it is. 10 winners will be announced on June the 13th. So 2 weeks or 3 weeks out? 3 weeks? 2 weeks.
June 13th, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. This guy's like Rain Man. He knows.
Tomorrow's the 31st.
That's exactly right. He is there. So here's a buddy, Greg Salyer from the Major League Baseball update. Normally he is with us on Wednesday tomorrow at Chick-fil-A, but he's here today because he is going to be celebrating a very special time coming up. That will be coming up tomorrow. Will be your wedding anniversary.
My 20th wedding anniversary.
Yeah,
that's how I knew the date. That's how I knew it was 2 weeks, because tomorrow is the 31st.
There you go. Greg and Wendy sitting in the tree, KISSING. So I saw her at church yesterday. I said, what's the deal? I get bumped for a wedding anniversary. She goes, that's right. You better believe it. That's right. I said, I'm getting bumped on my sports show. He has to come on Tuesday because you're going to go out and smooch and hold hands and do all that for anniversary. You're right. We are, Tom Taylor. I just reeled her in like a big fish. I had her, and he's standing over the side laughing like a Cheshire cat. So they're good folks, and we appreciate them. Let's run down yesterday's schedule. First off, in the National League, Dodgers beat the Cardinals 5-1. Seattle over Colorado 6-5. Pittsburgh 4, Arizona 3. Washington shuts out San Francisco 3-0. Mets double up Milwaukee 4-2. San Diego 5, Cubs 2. Toronto. Is that a misprint?
No, it's right.
It's not a misprint. Toronto beat his Reds 17-2. Miami over Philadelphia 4-1. The Braves double up the Angels 6-3. Big story involving Mike Trout. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment. In the American League, Baltimore beat the Yankees head-to-head competition. The American League East leadership right now, Baltimore 3, Yankees 2. White Sox get by Boston 5-4. Houston all over Minnesota 16-8. Seattle beat Colorado 6-5. Indians beat the A's 5-3. It was Detroit over Kansas City 10-7. Tampa Bay defeats the Texas Rangers 10-8. As we told you, Atlanta beat the Angels 6-3. Here's the schedule, and we're going to jump here and see what Greg's. We're going to be more than willing to bet we're going to start with either Bryce Harper or Mike Trout. So here is the schedule. Everything under the lights tonight of the National League. Arizona at Pittsburgh. Dodgers in St. Louis. Reds will be in Toronto. Hoping for better things. Wojciechowski. Did I say it right?
Yeah, well, they pronounce it Wojciechowski. I thought it was Wojciechowski too. Yeah,
Wojciechowski. He's pitching tonight for the Reds in Toronto. Milwaukee and New York against the Mets. Philadelphia and Miami. Seattle at Colorado. The Braves, Bartolo Colon on the left coast against the Angels and Big Albert Pujols. Cubs will be in San Diego, and Washington at San Francisco. In the American League, Oakland at Cleveland, Yankees in Baltimore. Everything continues from yesterday with the new series starting the first of the week. Boston at Chicago, Tampa Bay at Texas, Seattle at Colorado, Houston, Minnesota. The Tigers in Kansas City to battle the Royals. As we said, the Atlanta Braves on the left coast against the Los Angeles Angels. So, where was the picture? I had it here just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. How about this? We're going to start with this right here. It's coming out of the paper. How about that? A hay baler. That's coming out to give proper credit to the Kingsport Times News, but there's a picture of Bryce Harper. A little slugfest, a little tit for tat there. Got crossways with a guy he's had problems with for a number of years. Hunter Strickland hit him in the face. So we'll start there, my friend, with the Major League Baseball update. How's that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there is history between these two. Harper's took him deep a couple times, and he's tried to make him pay for it in a little bit different way by plunking him. And And if that wasn't an intentional hit by pitch, then he definitely didn't have control of his pitches. His command was not there if he didn't intentionally hit him, because you don't hit somebody in the side like that and unintentionally. Yeah, it was. So so you think about it and think, well, okay, I took him deep a couple times. Now he plunks me next time I come up. And I mean, we're talking a year ago this happened, or last season at least, and he plunked him in the side, and that started. It was Katie bar the door at that. Now, the funny thing, if you watch the video of that, after Harper got his licks in, and he got hammered a little bit too, I mean, give Strickland some credit. He defended himself pretty well. Ryan Zimmerman grabs him and takes him to the dugout. Did you see that? I mean, no. Yeah. He grabs him, and while the benches have cleared and everybody's there at the pitcher's mound, Ryan Zimmerman has pulled Bryce Harper to the Nationals dugout so he won't get hurt. He was trying to protect his player. Of course, now there's suspensions coming, of course.
Oh, yes. And financial, they're going to lighten the billfolds, too, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yes. Of course, that'll be a drop in the bucket for what these guys make. Yeah. But still, they're going to do that. But yeah, interesting. That thing popped up on my phone, and I immediately went to the video. I said, I've got to watch this. And it was interesting. The funny thing was when it appeared Harper tried to throw his batting helmet at Strickland and missed him by 20 feet. I mean, it's like it went off to the right or something there. He missed him by a mile, but it was an interesting thing to watch, and I'll be anxious to see what kind of suspensions come out of it as well as fines.
Of course, if you're the Nationals, you don't want this to happen because this guy's your marquee player. I mean, this guy's the bread and butter. He puts, obviously he has a fantastic batting average and home runs. I mean, this guy's one of the key parts to the National machine, who right now, by the way, is an 8.5 game lead over the Braves. So the last thing you want this guy to go out there and get in a fight and get hurt. That's happened before. So I'm sure they're out there holding their breath. That's probably why Zimmer went and got him, thinking this guy's one of the money cows. Get him out of that fight. So Bryce Harper got his licks in, but he got a few licks too. And Greg's right. You'll see some suspensions coming. You'll see some financial taking some money out of these boys' billfolds, and they should, I guess. So the old adage, boys will be boys, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, Bryce Harper's got a temper. He's done this before. I mean, he's done it with his own teammates before. So, this is nothing new for him. And he's a passionate player, let's face it, he is. And usually that's a real great attribute to have. Sometimes it's it gets a little carried away. And, that may be a little bit about what happened yesterday.
We're talking to Greg Salyer. We're live at Phil's Dream Pit again on this Tuesday. It feels like a Monday because we're normally working on Monday. Yesterday we didn't. We had a day off and thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. Had a blast. So let's look at pennant races. In the East, Washington 8.5 better than Atlanta, New York. In the Central, Milwaukee 1.5 games better than the Cardinals and the Cubs. In the West, Colorado with a 0.5 game lead over the Los Angeles Dodgers. Any surprises there?
Colorado has been, I think, been a surprise for a lot of people. I think a lot of the preseason people picked Colorado either second or third in that division, and I had them third. I really didn't think they were going to be as good as they are. Their pitching has been much better than I anticipated, and they can hit with anybody. So especially there and playing in Colorado. So. That may be a little bit of a surprise. I think Washington being ahead, I think I said last week, they may win the division by the end of August. I think they're the only team with a winning record in the National League East as well. And and in the Central, who would have thought that the Brewers would be in first place at the end of May? I don't think anybody saw that one coming. I think they still have pitching issues. But I will be surprised if they're still there when we're talking in August. But, I think a lot of people thought the Cubs would run away with it. Cubs haven't been as good as everyone thought, and the Brewers have been better.
Are you surprised the Pirates in the cellar? Because I am. I thought they'd be a little farther up, making a little noise, but they're down there with the Reds, 24-28, 4 under, 3.5 out, which is not insurmountable. But I just thought Pittsburgh would have a little bit better start after 52 games of baseball.
Yeah, they've had some injury bugs. They've Starling Marte being suspended for PEDs. That was a huge blow for them. I mean, when that happened, that just about crippled their season, I think, because he was probably going to be their best player this year. Andrew McCutcheon is playing about like he did last year, which is not one of his better seasons, and their young pitching just hasn't come through like they thought it would. They don't really know what they have with their young pitchers. So Garrett Cole is doing his job, and if Pittsburgh wants to get some great prospects, I think come trade deadline time, they'll be able to do that for him. But I picked Pittsburgh third in that division, and the fact that they're at the bottom right now is a little surprising.
We're live at Phil's Dream Pit. Here we are. Tomorrow we're going to be on the road at, tomorrow's Wednesday. Chicken Filet will be at Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City. In fact, in Greg Slop, which we normally have him at noon, the owner of Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen, love this guy. He's talking about a success story. Jeff Bedard will be there with us tomorrow. And Blue Lizard is the 11th fastest growing privately owned company in America.
Wow.
Just did a $1 million renovation, and we're going to be taking the show down at his place down in South Johnson City, down on Leif Cox Drive. So we're going to be down there coming up probably later on this month. So we were going to get a chance to meet Jeff Bedard tomorrow and talk about the hazards of sunscreen or the lack thereof. So, and the benefits of using Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen, made right here in Johnson City, Tri-Cities, and shipped all over the world. He'll be with us tomorrow, among other guests. Dave Angi's going to be there. The trophy inside the Angi family during March Madness, Mom's in town. And so he just sent me a text, said, can she come by and make a presentation on the air, or can I give the trophy to my mother on the air? I said, oh, yeah, this will be good. Yes. So he'll be there with us tomorrow. Some other folks lined up as well. Thursday will be a Champion Chevrolet as always. Again, the #1 Chevy dealer in the state. Then on Friday we'll be at Food City in Elizabethton. We'll be at Food City in Elizabethton, Les Music Store on Friday. But today we're here at Phil's Dream Pit again. The Quest. I say this every time. I'd be a terrible weatherman because what you see is not really what you're pointing at. When they're pointing.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it.
They're pointing at a green screen. There's nothing there when they're doing it.
Exactly.
So it's amazing.
It's a solid green screen, and so when they're saying, down in Arkansas, I'd be pointing to Hawaii. So obviously, so there we go. Phil's Dream Pit, the quest for perfect barbecue. Greg's going to eat here in just a minute. In the American League, New York, Boston, Baltimore. Yankees a 3-game lead over Boston. Baltimore 3.5 back. Tampa Bay's hanging. They're 4 back, and of course Toronto's starting to play some pretty solid baseball. They have struggled up to this point, but they're only 5.5 out. Check that, 6.5 out in the East. In the Central Division, Minnesota, who'd have thunk it? This team, after 47 games, after losing over 100 last year, they are in first place in the Central by a game over Cleveland. Chicago 3.5 back. Then in the West, you've got Houston running away with it right now, the hottest team in baseball with an 11-game lead over the Angels and the Texas Rangers. So any surprises in the American League right now?
Well, Minnesota, of course.
Yeah.
That was a huge surprise, I think. And I think there's two players that we can look at that can say is the reason they're there. Miguel Sano, the third baseman, is just knocking the cover off the ball. And then Irvin Santana's having a real solid season as a starter. So I think that's two of the reasons that they're where they are. And plus Paul Molitor. Last year, who would have thought he could bring a team back that had 100 losses last year and be in first place at the end of May?
Let's take a look at Mike Trout with the Los Angeles Angels in the American League. And this guy's a hammer, MVP, and this guy puts up some incredible numbers. Huge loss for the Angels. He's out for what, 6 to 8 weeks?
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks. Just a horrible thing to happen on a slide into second base. Tore the ulnar collateral ligament in his thumb. He was tearing it up. You asked me last week who was going to be the MVP of the league. I said Mike Trout. Didn't even,
bat an eye.
Yeah, to me, he's the only player that was there at that point. And now this probably means he won't be the MVP of the league. But one player has had this same surgery and came back in 5 weeks. So it's doable. But, that's a huge loss for the Angels and for baseball in general, because this guy's the best player in the sport.
Well, you look at his numbers right now, batting .337, 16 home runs, second in the majors, 2-time American League MVP at the age of 25. In a game of baseball, like anything else, how the Lord made us and created us, but you take your thumb out of something doing anything. Look, just take your thumb and tape it down and try and exist on a daily basis without your thumb. It's virtually impossible. So if you're gripping a bat with your thumb and you tear ligaments in your thumb, or trying to catch a glove either with your throwing hand with your thumb or with your catching hand with the glove. So You may not think thumb's a big deal, but thumb's a really big deal. And so torn ligament in his left thumb, which he'll have surgery tomorrow that's likely to sideline him for 8 weeks. Once I guess you can bounce back from this kind of surgery, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the thumb it's not as serious as if that same tendon or ligament is torn in the elbow, because that's what we typically hear of with Tommy John surgery, that same tendon there in the or ligament in the elbow. So fortunately it's his thumb, and he should be back hopefully in less than 2 months. I hope it's more like 6 weeks, but we'll have to wait and see. That blows my All-Star game voting out of the water now, because he's not going to be available for the All-Star game. So I'll have to find another outfielder.
Plus, the guy's good for the game.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, this guy's
absolutely
like his teammate Albert Pujols. I mean, guy just shows up every day, gives you 120%. The numbers are proofs in the pudding. Keeps his nose clean. Everything bad about Mike Trout, and so a great representation for the sport. Again, so he's going to be sorely missed for a lot of reasons in Major League Baseball.
And this is his first trip to the disabled list in his career. So, he's been healthy his entire career until this, and so that's just a shame.
Yep, 25 years old, Mike Trout on the shelf for 6 to 8 weeks. We talk about Major League Baseball. We're not that far away from Appalachian League Baseball. It's right around the corner. Obviously, we're inside of a month, so they all start right around the 20th. Give and take 20th to the 25th when everybody starts. Johnson City Cardinals, Kingsport Mets, Elizabethton Twins, Bristol Pirates, and Greenville Astros here in the Tri-Cities. So always a great chance to get out there and watch some of the stars of tomorrow in the literal sense. So there's been some great guys coming through these different teams and going to the bigs, and that's the whole point. I know we had Tyler Parsons on a couple of weeks ago with the Cardinals. I think he told me on the current roster there's like 8 or 10 guys that started in Johnson City. And we shouldn't be surprised that's the goal, but that tells you the caliber of athlete and the caliber of baseball player you'll see in the Appalachian League.
Yeah, absolutely. If you start talking about some of the names of guys that have come through here, I know when I was a kid and the Tigers were in Bristol, for a couple of years there, one year they had Mark Fidrich, the next year Lance Parrish, the next year they had both Lou Whitaker and Alan Trammell.
Yep.
Yeah, so and that's when I was a kid and loving every minute of seeing those guys play. And then 2 or 3 years later, turn on the television on the NBC Game of the Week, and there they were.
There they are. Well, and you look at the late Kirby Puckett in Elizabethton.
Sure.
Dale Murphy back in the day when the Kingsport was the Braves.
Darryl Strawberry.
Dwight Gooden, Kevin Mitchell. Some of the guys came through Kingsport. Of course, in Johnson City, I mean, it goes
Rick
Bobby
Ankiel,
Mercer, all the way back to Bobby Mercer.
Do you remember the Rick Ankiel story when he came back? He was pitching in St. Louis, and they sent him all the way back to Johnson City because he
converted him to an outfielder.
He ended up converting as an outfielder because he couldn't throw a strike anymore.
He was wild as a buck. So and of course Yadier, how do you say his name?
Yadier Molina.
Yeah, Yadier Molina was a catcher in Johnson City for a while. So Bake McBride was here. Terry Pendleton was here in Johnson City. So, and there's more. I'm just doing off the top of my head. So, point to all this is when you get your tickets to go see any of these Appalachian League teams, you're going to see the stars of tomorrow, literally, that we'll be talking about, I would assume, in 2 or 3 years from now. So, if you had to project right now, we're calling to Greg Sauer, I got him for another minute or two. If you had to project right now, 2 teams, May the 30th, 2017 will be in the World Series. Who would you jump out there and say at this point? Who you think is going to be able to take it and keep the consistency and get to the big show?
In the National League, I would have to say probably the Washington Nationals. They're probably going to have to pick up some relief pitchers to get there along the way, especially for the postseason. But I would say they're the odds-on favorite right now. In the American League, I may go out on it's got to be Houston Astros, I would think. They scored 11 runs in 1 inning yesterday, and that doesn't happen every day. So, this team's just good. They're just super talented, and if Dallas Keuchel keeps doing what he's doing, he'll be the Cy Young winner, and they'll be there in the World Series as well.
Daniel Norris has a pitching assignment later on this week. Probably, Greg and I figured either tomorrow or at the latest Thursday. If he goes tomorrow, it would be against the Kansas City Royals, which is, talking about a team that's been kind of an enigma. These guys in the World Series a couple of years ago, they're 21-29. I would think Ned Yost may be on a little slippery slope there in the old KC, but either Norris pitches there tomorrow or maybe the getaway game on Thursday. But Daniel's due to pitch again and had a great outing against the best team in baseball down in Houston last week.
Yeah, he did, and you know, and I would look for him to have another good outing against Kansas City. Maybe be able to pick up a win the way they've been playing. You know, Kansas City's probably going to be sellers at the trade deadline this year, which you kind of hate to see. A team that's played in 2 World Series, won one of them in just recent years, but you know, they've got guys that contract-wise, it's going to be beneficial for them to move them. And I think they're going to be big sellers. This year, I think we're going to see more sellers than we are buyers in the at the trade deadline. So there may be some cheap players out there for some teams that's looking to pick up some good guys.
For the taking, yep. Now, last question. Tomorrow's his anniversary, 20 years. Where did you take the future Miss Salyer on your first date?
First date, we went to Outback.
Really?
Yeah.
Lemon Onion.
Yeah, we did. We had one of those. Yeah, yeah. We went to Outback. She was working at BB&T. I was in seminary, and I was driving between Wake Forest, North Carolina, and Bristol, and went a little bit out of my way to make a stop there in Belmont, North Carolina. And but had met her a few weeks before that, and called her up and said, hey, and can I take you out? And she was a little impressed I was willing to drive, you know, about 3 hours for a date. So that impressed her a little bit. So I picked her up at work, and we ended up going to Outback, and then just kind of going back to her mom and dad's house and sitting in the porch swing for a while.
As the old boy says in the cowboy movie, Clint Eastwood says, a man's got to do what a man's got to do. So jumping in the car and driving 3 or 4 hours to see someone's no big deal, is it?
Yeah, no big deal at all.
No, got to do it.
Yeah.
When the old bug bits you, man's got to roll, don't it?
Yeah, that's right. So then I just drove on up to Bristol then after that. And
when the love bug bites you, man's got to roll.
Yeah.
So, well, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask where we're going to go. It's none of my business. But what's coming up on Sunday?
Sunday, well, let's talk about the big thing Sunday night. Vacation Bible School starts. So we're looking forward to that. And, of course, that'll be Sunday through Thursday with family night on Friday night. Oh, we got the Kona Ice Truck coming for family night.
Ooh.
Yeah. They came by my house yesterday and, you know, took everything plus some that I had in my wallet. Had to send back inside the house for more money.
Reinforcements.
Yeah. Yeah. Abigail was out playing in the sprinkler, of all things, and then she keeps hearing the music, and we don't see the truck, and she says, Daddy, I hear it. It's getting louder. It's getting louder. Next thing I know, she says, it's turning down our street. So, yeah.
There you go.
So,
the ice truck coming.
Yeah, but they're going to be at Southwestern on Friday night, and but yeah, we'll start Vacation Bible School on Sunday and run through Thursday. Always a great time. We love that. It'll wear you out, but it's always worth it, and we look forward to investing in the lives of a bunch of kids this coming week.
For eternity. So,
yeah.
Nothing more pleasing than to have a little person. Charles Stanley says, I've told you this, and you've told me too. He says the most important outreach of a church is Vacation Bible School.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. You're going to eat, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to eat.
Yeah, get you something good to eat. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
He's one of the good guys. Is that her calling right there?
I don't know. It may
be. Man, got him in trouble. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We're at Phil's Dream Pit on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
Any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Over 10 to choose from. Perfect for having the gang over to watch the big game, birthday parties, church get-togethers, backyard gatherings, everything from fruit trays to garden salad trays to nuggets and chicken strip trays. And for the sweet tooth, try the cinnamon cluster or chocolate chunk cookie tray. So you see, any day is a good day to get a tray from Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A at the Crossings in North Johnson City.
The deals are heating up for Truck Month at Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City. Over 300 new Chevys to choose from, all with incredible savings. $11,000 off MSRP on 16 Silverado All-Star Crew Cabs. Check out the savings online at championjc.com. 16 Silverado Crew Cab, $33,685. 16 Track, $17,460. 16 Equinox, $21,615. 16 Traverse, $27,365. Champion Chevrolet on the Motor Mile in Johnson City, where we leave you asking, how do they do that?
At American Import Auto Repair in Johnson City, one of the 8 areas of your vehicle that takes constant continuing education is the air conditioner on your vehicle.
Well, you would think that AC would be a simple one, but it's getting to be a lot bigger than just AC. It's the management of the system, not just AC, but heat and everything. It's a lot more computer controlled than it used to be. It used to be just a little button on the dash that you pushed. Now there's all kinds of electronics involved in that. Braking systems used to be fairly simple. Now some of the newer vehicles, you have to have a computer to actually operate the braking system to make sure that it's okay after you've worked on it. Computer controlled of the engine is becoming very important. There's a lot to that. Each one of these areas, the technology is just tripled and quadrupled in the last few years. It's hard to keep up. You really need to stay in the books and know what's going on with them.
American Import Auto Repair, Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Your life is always changing. You never know what shape it will take, or how your financial needs might change. But if we talk about your investments and how they can provide for you and your family, the future becomes clear. At Wells Fargo Advisors, we believe conversation leads to financial clarity. Let's start a conversation today.
Back on the Tom Taylor Sports Show again. Don't forget to register for free tickets to the Thunder Valley Nationals. It's absolutely free. Grandstand and pit passes all rolled up in one. We're giving away 10 different sets of winners, over $800 worth of tickets. You can see there on the screen, TomTaylorSports.com/contest. All you've got to do, and folks have been doing it all over the country, and we appreciate that. Why would you not go up to see the best of the best, John and Courtney Force and Anton Brown and Schumacher and all the guys and ladies coming into town in a couple of weeks for the Thunder Valley Nationals. We'll give those tickets away 2 weeks from today, 10 winners. So you get a 1 in 10 chance of winning tickets to get down to the pits and also the grandstand of the Thunder Valley Nationals, again at Bristol Dragway. So, again, thank you for if you've already qualified. If you haven't, get on there and go TomTaylorSports.com/contest and get set to win. We're giving away 10 sets of tickets, over $800 worth of tickets, thanks to the folks at Bristol Dragway. We're going to have them on later on this week. We're live at Phil's Dream Pit. It is lunchtime. You can see that they're, I don't know if you can see, I'll turn it right here. I'm not doing a very good job showing the camera, but they're coming to the door to say the least. They're here. Folks are here eating. The lobby's filling up. I mean, the restaurant's filling up in here and outside on the front porch as well. All right, let's take a look at some college football news. A roommate for Tennessee wide receiver Josh Smith seeking $875,000 in damages as part of a $3 million civil lawsuit following an alleged fight that happened on Cinco de Mayo. I don't know why that has anything to do with anything, but again, the settlement is being demanded by Kennedy Foster, a childhood friend who was Smith's roommate at Tennessee. Smith was arrested and charged with domestic violence at the UT Medical Center in May after a fight broke out among Smith, Foster, and another roommate, Malcolm Stokes. Oh, here could be maybe the reason they've been drinking. So there you have it. Got some of that truth serum inside of them. Per a police report, the roommates had been drinking. Foster reportedly went into the bathroom. Smith kicked it down the door, trying to check on his roommate. Then the roommates began to fight. Makes no sense. The guy goes in to use the restroom. His roommate goes to check on him and get in the fight, kicks the door in. Smith was arrested as the primary aggressor in the fight, claimed it was all my fault. Foster suffered a broken nose and broken teeth as well as the damage to his right ear and one of his eyes after Smith allegedly kicked him in the face multiple times. So, again, the Smith family disputing the facts of the alleged incident, but that's happening in Knoxville. So, Tennessee wide receiver Josh Smith seeking $875,000 in damages. And so that happened again back in May, earlier this month, for Cinco de Mayo. Many throughout the Southeastern Conference were furious when Jim Harbaugh went on his satellite camp tour back in 2016, going through the Southeast and posting up in Florida on the high school campuses with his Michigan staff. Well, new NCAA rules were passed requiring camps to be on college campuses, but that won't stop Harbaugh from getting into the Sunshine State this summer to evaluate the local talent. His ticket to ride, new FAU coach Lane Kiffin has invited Harbaugh down to be in Florida this summer. According to the Sun Sentinel, Michigan, one of the 5 Power 5 schools that already have committed to the camp. The other, how about this? Oregon, Vanderbilt, Illinois, Arkansas, and Butch Jones and his coaching staff at Tennessee will be down in Florida coming up later on this summer. Again, Kiffin is not singling out Michigan or Harbaugh here with other Power 5 schools already in the mix. It's going to be coming up later in June. Mississippi State, North Carolina State, Louisville, Nebraska, Texas A&M, Arizona, and Indiana, along with Tennessee is going to be there, and Oregon, and Vanderbilt, Illinois, and Arkansas. So Jim Harbaugh and the Wolverines will be at Florida Athletic University with former Alabama offensive coordinator and former Tennessee coach Lane Kiffin, and the Tennessee coaching staff will be there as well to put on some clinics and to evaluate talent coming up later on in the summer in Florida. How about my boys, the Raiders? Well, there was questions how they were going to be received in Oakland since they've announced they're leaving to go to Vegas. Well, according to the Raiders front office, all the season tickets for the 2017 season, which will be played in the Coliseum in Oakland, are sold out. Maybe this should not come as a surprise. If the Raiders were still stuck in ineptitude, a boycott could have happened, but the Raiders are no longer the joke of the league. In fact, they got into the playoffs last year. Of course, Derek Carr got hurt, and that kind of stopped that. So Mark Davis revealed last week that he had refunded and immediately resold roughly 1,000 season tickets. So some of the folks turned their tickets back in, and Davis refunded those and turned right around and resold them. So the Raider fans are seeing with Marshawn Lynch being signed to run the ball for the Raiders, and all, of course, quarterback Derek Carr getting ready to get re-signed, and so one of the best pass rushers in the league, and Kalawi Mack. So lots of reason the Raider fans to be excited. It all starts September the 10th, by the way. The Raiders open up in Nashville against the Titans. We'll be there because win, lose, or tie, I'm a Raider till I die. We're no longer the laughing stock of the league. We're actually making some noise, and so the Raiders will be in Nashville to take on the Titans in September to kick off the NFL season. But all the season tickets at the Oakland Coliseum have been sold for Raiders football. NASCAR news, let's run it down for you again. The points leaders, they head off to Dover this weekend. It is a triple header. All 3 series will be in action. Again, Camping World will be on June 2nd. The Xfinity Series on June 3rd. And, of course, the Cup Series will be on Sunday, June the 4th, this coming Sunday. Cup leader right now, Martin Truex Jr. with a 5-point lead over Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, and Kyle Busch, your top 5 in points. Then comes Jamie McMurray, Chase Elliott, Jimmy Johnson, Clint Boyer, and Joey Logano, the top 10 right now in the Cup Series. And the Xfinity Series, the veteran driver Elliott Sadler with a 6-point lead over Justin Allgaier. They'll race again in Dover this weekend. Then you have William Byron, Daniel Hemrick, Darrell Wallace Jr., Bubba Wallace, Ryan Reed, Brennan Poole, Matt Tifft, Michael Annett, and Blake Cook are your top 10 right now in the Xfinity Series. And then, of course, in the Camping World Truck Series, they'll also race this weekend. And your leader right now is Johnny Sauter with a 15-point lead over Christopher Bell. Matt Crafton, the defending champion, he is in 3rd. Chase Briscoe 4th. Ben Rhodes 5th. Timothy Peters currently 6th in points. Grant Enfinger 7th. Kaz Gralla 8th, Ryan Truex 9th, and Brett Moffitt rounds out the top 10 of the Camping World Truck Series points. And again, all 3 racing this weekend, a triple header of action at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware. College baseball, LSU tops Arkansas with the Southeastern Conference title. Again, their 12th SEC tournament title, 6th under the new current coach, Paul Maneria. And so they will go in as the favorite coming out of the Southeastern Conference, having won the SEC. The Razorbacks, by the way, the team they beat for the title, are now 0-4 in Southeastern Conference championship games. And then, of course, if you noticed And you know by now that Texas A&M eliminated the Lady Vols in softball on Sunday, the best out of 3. The rubber match, and they win it. And so loss marking Tennessee's second time not advancing out of a super regional, and the first when they were hosting at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium. They did break an attendance record. Come on over, big guy. I'll let you go right now. They did break an attendance record of 2,459, breaking the single game record of 2,365 again at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium for the Lady Vols softball program. So a young team got beat. They're gone. 48-12 they finished the season, but again, a lot of promise. They're a very, very young softball team, and so good stuff coming up again for the Lady Vols, but they were eliminated. We ran down for you earlier the Super Regionals. We'll do that again for you coming up here in a couple of minutes. Steve McCauley joins us coming up for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Right now, here's my man, the myth, the legend. Look at him there. Man with the beard. I like it. Greg Beck from Phil's Dream Pit.
How are you, Tom?
Sir. How you doing?
Doing great.
Oh, yeah.
Doing
Place is rocking.
We're rocking today.
Great lunch so far.
Yes, sir.
After being off, of course, they're always closed on Mondays. So everybody got a chance to get off and enjoy Memorial Day weekend. And so back in the saddle, and let's talk about those ribs. You can describe them like none other. Tell me about the ribs here at Phil's Dream Pit.
So we have 2 types of ribs that we do. We do a dry rub rib, where we have a dry rub that we do for several different things. We do it for the ribs. We do it for the chicken as well. So we do a dry rub rib. It's a pork rib, pork baby back, with our dry rub seasoning that's put on it before we go in the smoker. And then we throw that in the smoker, let it get good and moist for about an hour and a half. And then we look at those and make sure that everything is happening correctly as far as the process goes. And then they'll stay on probably another hour and a half. So total time smoking about 3 hours. They get tender, fall off the bone, meaty, juicy, tender, and just absolutely melt in your mouth with that hickory smoke flavor. The hickory smoke does really well with that dry rub seasoning. It's a great combination. Can't miss. To me, it's the best thing on the menu.
We're talking to our buddy Greg Beck, on screen here at Phil's Dream Pit. Coming up, Steve McCauley joins us from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes as we are here live at Phil's Dream Pit. The quest for perfect barbecue. So you have 2 different types of ribs.
That's right.
Correct?
So the other type of rib that we have is a wet rib. It's our sweet sauce that we based onto a pork baby back rib. So both of the 2 types of ribs are pork baby backs. We just treat them in 2 different ways. So the other treatment is to use our sweet sauce that you find on the table. We use that sweet sauce about an hour and a half into the smoking process. We'll load the ribs down with the sweet sauce, let it get caramelized and hot. Get it kind of soaked into those ribs, and those ribs get, again, moist, tender. They're meaty, really, really just really strong baby back ribs that just have a lot of meat on them. A lot of times you'll go to a restaurant and you'll find a rib that's barely got any meat on it. But for us, our suppliers do a great job of sending us really thick, really meaty baby back ribs. So they do really well in the smoker. Our smoker's always running and good and hot. And it's just amazing how those ribs come off.
You can get a half rack
rib
meal, a full rack rib meal, or a 3 rib meal. Tell me about the 3 rib.
So the 3 rib meal is great for lunch. If you're on the run and you don't want to spend an exorbitant amount of money on your lunch, the 3 rib meal is a good way to get some ribs for lunch. It's 3 bones, whether you want sweet or dry, and then it'll come with a piece of bread and 2 sides, and that's a great meal for lunch. That's a good portion. Dinner time comes around, you're a little hungrier. We've got a half rack meal, which typically will be about 6 bones, and then we've got the full rack meal, which will be typically about 12 to 13 bones. We keep those ready to go. You let us know, give us a call ahead, and we'll have those ready for you. And again, the 2 options are our sweet ribs or our dry rub ribs.
We're talking to our buddy, again, Greg Beck, you see on screen from Phil's Dream Pit. Also the meal sides, baked beans, coleslaw, potato salad, macaroni salad, potato chips, and hash brown casserole.
Make a bulldog break its chain.
Baby, I'm telling you, it's some serious good stuff there now.
The hash brown casserole is hard to
beat.
It's hard to beat. The hash brown casserole is one of our best sellers.
Yep, and also something a lot of places don't have, but you got a great kids menu too.
Absolutely. We do a really good job, I think, trying to make it a family atmosphere. So we know that mom and dad are used to barbecue, and mom and dad are excited about barbecue, but the kids may not be trained on the barbecue yet. So we've got other options. We've got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that we just heat up in the microwave that we can do for them, a Slam and Sammy. We've got
A slamming salmon.
We've got
that.
We've got.
That's good.
I get the bell for that one.
Yes, you get the bell.
Then we've also got. We've got, a smaller pork sandwich that if you've got kids who have had our pork before and they're ready for that, we've got a smaller portion that we do for them, and we serve that with potato chips, whether it's barbecue or plain potato chips. So.
Now, before I let you go, again, we're talking to my man Greg Beck.
Yes, sir.
When you come in here, you can't decide what you want. You offer a sampler platter. Tell me about that.
We do. So you can do a sampler 2 meats or a 3 meat sampler. You can choose from 3 ribs, sweet or dry. You can choose from a couple slices of brisket to make up about a 3 or 4 ounce portion. You can choose from 4 ounces of pork or a pork wing, and you can also do the turkey. You can do a 4 ounce portion of turkey. So you pick 2 or 3 of those that you want to do, and that is our 2 meat or 3 meat sampler.
Website
is philsdreampit.com. Yes, sir.
Hours are open, my friend.
We are open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
It's like a machine. It's like a marketing machine.
Absolutely.
I can pop them off. Phone number is
423-349-6437. 423-349-6437.
The quest for
perfect barbecue.
You got it. You're the man.
You're the man.
Great job, my friend.
Thank you, Tom. We appreciate you being here.
Love coming out of it. These guys are awesome. Don't move. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Macaulay's in the house talking FCA next here on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
back live again at Phil's Dream Pit. We're coming up for a couple of more minutes here. I see Mr. Salyers over there. What are you getting? What'd you have?
Peanut butter.
Pork platter.
Peanut.
Slammin' Sammy.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Slammin' Sammy. Hash brown's good, isn't it?
That's the one that'll make the bulldog break its chain.
Because I've hollered at him 3 times. The first 2 didn't hear me, so I guess he was engrossed in eating. So there you go. Here's my man on screen, my buddy Steve McCauley from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and it is camp season, my friend. So
it is.
Tell me what's going on with camp.
I've got my FCA football shirt on. It's a dry wick. It's a it's a wicking. It's like Under Armour, but it's not.
You get those in double XL?
Nice. I can get it. Yeah, you mean extra man size? So, but it's
for me.
We have camps are an awesome way. We call it a week of inspiration and perspiration because athletes love to compete and they love summertime. They love being outside. We've got flagship camps like Black Mountain. You've probably heard of it. I've got guys that are our age and older that I've run into that say, "Oh, I went to Black Mountain in 1969 or 1972." When they were 70 something. And so Black Mountain is it's a great camp. They're doing a special camp at Black Mountain in July. It's a 3-day camp because it's gotten a little pricey for kids to go. So they're doing a special 3-day camp. I think it's around $200, and it's to get more kids there. So they're doing it's like a 3-day cruise. They do one and then they turn around and do another one. So they do back-to-back 3-day camps. So that's coming up, and then we've got team basketball camp coming up soon. I think in a couple of weeks, and that's down at Lee University near Cleveland, Tennessee, not Ohio, and and then we've got cheerleading camp, we've got team football camp, and we've got an awesome, we call it leadership camp, but it's called competitors camp. It's a high school and middle school camp. It's at Johnson University, just outside of Knoxville. That's June 26th through the 29th. It's a 4-day camp. Incredible. I think it's about $250. Food, lodging, Bible, T-shirt, the whole deal. And they get a nice shirt like this. They get a nice, it's not a $5 T-shirt. It's a nice.
How you doing, Clark Parker? Looking good. Looking good.
So camps. We're hoping to have about between 500 and 600 kids there.
Awesome.
From Tennessee and surrounding states. But it's a Tennessee camp. It's a flagship camp. It's incredible. Johnson University. You're welcome to come down there. We've got some board members and donors that are coming on kind of a field trip. We're going to go down early and eat in the cafeteria. We've got a room reserved there in the Johnson University cafeteria for Wednesday night of camp, and it's the last night of camp. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just enjoy some food and fellowship, and then we're going to walk over to the assembly, the evening assembly at 7 p.m., and we're going to just sit in the back and observe. And when you see 500 teenagers praising the Lord, and then if we stay long enough, we can get they have open mic, and the kids come up and share about how God's impacted their life that week. They came for some competition and some sports, and they've learned how to run a huddle at their school, but so many of them, hundreds of them, make life-changing decisions of following the Lord harder and better. Stuff that that we struggle with now, but
Sure.
Think about when you were 15, 16, 17, the stuff you struggle with, and they really get to know the Lord better during those 4 days, and they develop relationships with their college age counselor, their huddle leader, the staff, the FCA staff, and their huddle mates that will last a lifetime. It's just incredible.
We're talking to our buddy Steve McCauley. I want to touch on this because it's a sad story, but I want to show the impact, pro and con, of athletes. We let off the show with Tiger Woods being arrested again, and it's a sad story, and I'm not picking on Tiger. In fact, I would pray for that he would get it together and get his life turned around, because if he sold out to the Lord, what an impact he could have for kids and young people all over the country. But the influence, both negative and positive, that these athletes have on these kids, and that's what FCA is all about, because they take coaches and athletes and plug them into the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and use them as role models. Tony Dungy, Tim Tebow, those are two that jump out at me. So the platform, you've said this many times, the platform sports can can be used mightily by the Lord to reach
Yeah.
people. And so folks like Tiger Woods, who's been up there, the guy, you know, beautiful wife, won all these trophies and tournaments, has all this money, and now he gets arrested for DUI. Is it the end of the world? No. But it looks like it just continues to spiral downward for him, unfortunately. So touch on the fact how important it is for kids to have role models, and you know how FCA does that, and they take negatives and turn into positives.
Yeah, well, you know, FCA, it's all about the influence.
Yeah.
That's the key word. Influence is what we've got, and there's a picture that we use. You can just Google FCA influence picture. It's of a little boy named David Dean in 1967 at Black Mountain Camp, and it's the picture of him, this little boy, number 18. He's in a football jersey, a number 18 football jersey, holding a football, and he's gazing at a group about 50 feet away that are sitting around in a huddle of teenagers, of teenage and college kids, and he's about 4 years old, 5 years old, little kid, about how old Tiger was when he started golfing, and he's looking at these older guys, and their influence as athletes in that group is influencing him in his little mind and his little eyes. And think about in the 90s and in the early 2000s, and even now, how many kids have started golf? How many dads took their 4-year-old or their 5-year-old down to get golf? My son's going to have golf lessons this summer. And, yeah, it's that influence. And the kids, I don't know what the sales, if you could chart it, the sales of kids' golf clubs in the 90s when Tiger came along, boom, because they heard his story. Before that, Jack Nicklaus and all those guys, Arnold Palmer, they all were adult golfers. We didn't know, they didn't start when they were 3 years old or 4 years old. But Tiger Woods, there was something different about him. And so he has a tremendous amount of influence. And he also caused a lot of what we call now millennials in this generation. But when I was that age, a millennial age, back in the 90s, young, newly married, starting a family, in my 20s or early 30s, I became a golf fan because of Tiger Woods. I mean, and I remember my son, who's 20-something now, 23, 24 now, when we were going to meet Tiger Brooks, he's the WCQR guy, we were going up to that station a few years ago. When my now 23-year-old, he was about 12, 10 or 12. This was many years ago. We were going up to WCQR to do a morning interview, and I had him with me. And I said, we're going on the radio with Tiger Brooks. And he goes, wow, I'm going to get to meet a professional golfer. When he heard that word Tiger and somebody famous, and I worked for FCA, he just put it all together. And so if Tiger Brooks is listening, he was disappointed a little bit, but it was still nice to meet. Hey, he met a great Tiger. Yeah. Tiger Brooks is a great guy. But that shows you how much influence. Even a kid, my son, not a golfer, not a golf fan. He's a Star Wars, one of those kind of kids. But he even knew about Tiger Woods and that influence. So yeah, I'll pray for him, and I hope that he. And he'll only get it together. He ain't going to get it together. You know that. He'll only get it together by surrendering to the King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
You got it.
Because if he tries to get it together on his own strength, he'll ultimately fail.
Well put. We're talking to our buddy Steve McCauley, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So school's out right now. Camps is front and center, obviously.
Yeah.
So there is a website. Tell them about the website.
It's FCA. Well, there's 3 websites. The FCAcamps.org is where they can go to get camp information. If they want local FCA information, they go to FCA Tri-Cities. If you're within the Tri-Cities, Tennessee region, Bristol, Kingsport, Johnson City, and the surrounding counties, Greene County, anywhere in East Tennessee, you can go to FCATriCities.org. And on that site are all of our staff cell phone numbers, our email. You can contact us anytime and with any questions. But FCAcamps.org is the national camps website, and it's got a lot of information. And then our national website out of Kansas City, awesome website, incredible. They've just rebuilt the whole, I don't know what it's called, the platform of the website recently. And it's not one of those GoDaddy $10 websites, okay? It's an amazing website. It's FCA.org. FCA.org. And since Fiat Chrysler changed their name to FCA, I don't know if you realize that with Fiat. Yeah. So if you just type in FCA, you'll probably go to Fiat Chrysler, because Chrysler and Fiat merged there about a year or two ago. So, but we are not Fiat Chrysler. Okay, we're Fellowship of Christian Athletes. We do not want to sell you a car. No. We want to tell you about something that's free.
There you go.
That will that's more valuable than the whole world, and that's your salvation and your relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. And it's an amazing journey, and we use the platform of sports, the influence of coaches and athletes, to reach hearts for Christ. And so pray for our ministry, and if you want to learn more about it or support us, you can go online to FCA Tri-Cities and give me a call.
That old hymn, I'd rather have Jesus than silver or gold.
Yeah.
Riches untold.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of that joke about the guy that collected gold, because gold, he collected gold, and when he died, his gold was so precious he brought it up to heaven with him in 2 suitcases. You ever hear that story?
Yeah, tell me that one.
St. Peter meets the guy at the gate and says, "Guys, come here." He calls all the other apostles, and Jesus, he goes, "You guys got to see this. This guy brought pavement with him." When did he bring pavement? That's a I probably butchered it, the punchline, but anyway, you get the gist of it, right? Yeah. So
this guy's a piece of work. But and anytime we're on the show or he's on the show, he always shares and likes it. So all the FCA folks out there watching and listening, thank you, and appreciate you supporting this guy, and he does as well. So
and thank you. It's a great partnership, man. Couldn't do it without you, and appreciate you. And one of these days you'll wear your FCA hat I gave you, right?
I had it on last week.
Did you? Okay, good.
This wasn't the day you came by.
All right, that's all right.
When is the camp down in Knoxville? That I could maybe come
That's
to broadcast.
26th. It's June 26th, Monday through Thursday, 26, 27, 28, 29, 4 days. Probably shoot for the Wednesday to broadcast. The Wednesday, the 28th, that's the day we're going down there.
I have to see, that may be something to do there. That'd be pretty cool. Get down and hang out, broadcasting FCA
That'd
camp.
be fun.
You let me?
Do I what?
You let me do it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
May work on that one. All right. Let's see. We got time to take a quick break. Again, tell us one more time about the website. Which one you want us to zero in on?
Probably FCATriCities.org. That's our local one, because if you see you can go other websites from there, and if the reason I zero in on that, if they have a question, they can click on my email or call me or text me. My phone number, Steve McCauley. I'm listed right on there. If you got a complaint, call the other guy listed on there.
Don't call
He's
me.
the complaint department. Yeah.
FCATriCities.org.
Yeah.
Good job, Bubba.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. God bless you.
We'll be right back. We're live here at Phil's Dream Pit on the Tom Taylor Sports Show.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City takes care of both male and female customers, but owner Kim Smith says they have a special care and concern for ladies.
Being a female in what's considered a man's business, I understand the trepidation that women may have when they come to the shop. They feel like they don't know about cars, they might be intimidated, but that's not the way we do business. Everybody's treated the same. We take the time to explain anything that they have questions about, the repair, the process, the part. We want to make sure people are comfortable with what we're going to do to their vehicle and that they understand. We do cater to women in a sense. We have a real nice waiting room with nice Keurig coffee and flavored creamers, air-conditioned, cushioned seats, TV, everything a girl could want while she waits for her car to be fixed.
American Import and Auto Repair in Johnson City, open 6 days a week. Call today at 913-3111. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they treat thousands of patients each year dealing with diabetes and its effects. Diabetes overtaking our nation and leaving a path of destruction behind. Through wound care, office visits, and preventive care, they see most of the patients after a problem arises. Using diabetic footwear such as shoes and inserts, a great way to prevent or prolong skin breakdown and amputation. At Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, they use only custom molds from patient mold inserts, which further ensure a great recovery, or better yet, prevents a wound from happening. They use custom molded shoes, bracing, custom inserts, and extra depth diabetic shoes to prevent wounds or other skin issues from beginning. Call today, 1-800-524-4447. 39 years, 6 locations, 1 family. Bristol Orthotics and Prosthetics, 1-800-524-4447. If you're catching some waves or just playing in the yard, it is important to protect yourself. You may not feel the sun's heat, but UV rays can still damage your skin even in cloudy weather. Blue Lizard Sunscreen, recommended by pharmacists and dermatologists nationwide. Our SPF 30-plus formulations use only the highest quality ingredients for broad spectrum protection. As a reminder to protect yourself, our bottle turns blue when UV light is present. Blue Lizard, we've got you covered.
From the driveways where your kids play basketball and ride their bicycles, to the parking lots at your local church or grocery store, Bracken Paving is an important part of many neighborhoods in our area. No matter how large or how small the job, Bracken strives for excellence in every service they provide. It's a foundation for a strong community. Discover the difference at Bracken Paving and Asphalt Maintenance. Give us a call or visit us online at brackenpaving.com.
Back with the Tom Taylor Sports Show. We're live here to wrap this thing up again at Phil's Dream Field. Let me run down a couple of things going on around the region. First off, coming up on Thursday, street fights at Bristol Dragway, where you can take your machine, whatever it is, station wagon, SUV, 4-door, 2-door, pocket rocket, clunker, whatever. Street fights coming up on Thursday night, this coming Thursday, June the 1st. You believe that? We're in June. We're at 200 and I looked this up before I came on the show. Excuse me, 213 days till Christmas, I think it is. I have to go back and double check, which I love. Still got my trees up at the house. I have 3 trees up year-round in my house. This is the Griswolds. Oh, baby, it is West Virginia. You got it. Got 3 trees up. All I got to do to go Christmas is go flip the light and voila. Oh, yeah. Mammal's still got greenery on it, lights, redneck, country's cornbread. Street fights coming up Thursday. Again, gates open at 5 o'clock. Racing starts at 6. Again, that'll be at Bristol Dragway. You can take your vehicle up there, any kind of vehicle you have, obviously, and race one against the other Bristol Dragway. That's coming up again this coming Thursday. Then our buddy from the Goose Chase, she's due to be with us tomorrow. Celebrate National Running Day coming up on Saturday. That's going to be in Johnson City. Turkeys and Training Kids Clinic for the Turkey Trot race for Thanksgiving morning. Again, all this going on, just go to turkeysandtraining.com. And so it's a kids running clinic registration. So teach how to stretch properly, some running skills, how to prevent injury, some games. So celebrating National Running Day will be this coming Saturday. And she's due to be with us tomorrow, she being our buddy Karen Hubbs from the Goose Chase. Also, we want to remind you about coming up on the 7th, National Running Day, and that's this right here. Downtown, June the 7th, National Running Day in Johnson City, the Goose Chase. I can't get the entire poster on, but again, it's celebrating National Running Day on June the 7th in downtown Johnson City. The kids race at 7 o'clock, open race at 7:30, the elite race at 8 o'clock, and up to a $200 cash prize for the elite race. And again, you can go to thegoosechace.org to find out more about that. Also, one of our great sponsors, again, Cherokee Barbershop, reminding about the 3rd annual National Football Foundation 3rd Annual Scholarship Golf Tournament at Crocker Ridge Golf Course on Friday, June the 16th. 4-man team, captain's choice, breakfast and lunch included. Again, you can also, if you hit a hole-in-one on the certain hole, can win a free cruise. George Jordan's your man to call to get more information at 239-9657. 239-9657 is the number to call for that. All right, before we get out of here, let's run down for you one more time Major League Baseball. See if I can find the sheet that I had. Oh, brother. I was talking to Greg and put it up, so here we go. Let's run down through again one more time the schedule for Major League Baseball for this Tuesday. Again, the National Hockey League tomorrow night, Game 2. The Predators up with a 3-goal lead and blew it. Penguins rallied to beat them 5-3 on the ice in Pittsburgh. Game 2 tomorrow night in Pittsburgh. The NBA Finals, there's trash talking on both sides. LeBron says this Golden State team is not the best team he's ever played. Kevin Durant came out and said LeBron James sometimes plays like a sissy. So it's going to be good. Starting Thursday night, NBA Finals. Some trash talking to be sure. Again, game one will be, Thursday and Sunday will be in Golden State. Then Wednesday and Friday, the 7th and the 9th, they'll go back to Cleveland, and it's a 2-2-1-1-1 format for the NBA Finals. But again, Durant says LeBron plays like a sissy. I guarantee that's on the bulletin board in the Cavalier locker room. It better be. So, anyway, here's who's playing tonight in Major League Baseball. First off, for the Nationals, everything under the lights. Arizona's going to be in Pittsburgh, the battle of the Pirates. Waka and the Cardinals at home against the Dodgers. Cincinnati goes to Toronto. They can't do any worse. Well, I guess they could have get shut out. They got beat 17-2 yesterday. Reds is like BP for these teams. Philadelphia at Miami, Seattle, Colorado. The Angels hosting Bartolo Colon and the Bravos on the left coast. Without Mike Trout, who's out 6 to 8 weeks with a torn ligament in his thumb. Cubs will be in San Diego, and Washington at San Francisco. In the American League, Daniel Norris pitches tomorrow against the Kansas City Royals. Oakland at Cleveland. Yankees in Baltimore, Cincinnati at Toronto, Seattle at Colorado, Tampa Bay at Texas. The Red Sox will battle the White Sox in South Chicago tonight. Houston at Minnesota, Detroit at Kansas City, and Atlanta, as we said, on the left coast against the Los Angeles Angels. And that's going to do it from, again, Phil's Dream Pit. We want to say thanks to our guest, Allison Costley, with the Esther School in Africa. Stopped by and talked about that great organization. Again, the EstherSchool.org is how you can find more information about that. Mike Hedrick joined us from Northern Virginia. Mike talked NASCAR, of course, the big win by Austin Dillon, that number 3, formerly driven by the late Dale Earnhardt Sr. And so Austin Dillon punches his ticket into a lot of things next year by winning this year. And so, plus RCR Racing gets a much-needed victory coming out of their stable, which has been a long time coming. And so Austin Dillon was the winner of the Coca-Cola 600. Great report by Mike Hedrick about that, and also the Dover preview this weekend. Greg Salyer with the Major League Baseball update, normally with us on Wednesday. Tomorrow's his 20th wedding anniversary, and so congratulations to Greg. Thought that was interesting. He was courting Wendy. He drove 3 hours one way to see see his woman. So as Clint Eastwood said, a man's got to do what a man's got to do. So I totally understand. And so Greg Salyer celebrating his 20th wedding anniversary tomorrow. Steve McCauley from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes stopped by. Also Phil Pipkin, the owner of Phil's Dream Pit, as well as his trusty sidekick Greg Beck was here as well. So we are out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. Tomorrow, great show lined up as always. We're going to be again at Chick-fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City tomorrow. Jeff Bedard, the owner of Blue Lizard Sunscreen, will be with us tomorrow. Can't wait to have Bedard on. And then also we'll have Dave Angie be with us tomorrow, some other folks. But again, looking forward to talking to Jeff Bedard from Blue Lizard Australian Sunscreen. So there it is, Phil's Dream Pit. Thursday will be at Champion Chevrolet, and then Friday will be at Food City in Elizabeth. We're out of time. We sincerely thank you for yours. So for Phil Pipkin, Greg Beck, and all the folks here in Phil's Dream Pit, this is Tom Taylor telling you, as always, win or lose, be a good sport. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock from Chick-fil-A The Crossings in North Johnson City. Until then, so long, everybody.